Hello, this is Nick995. For this video, I'm going to be ranking DLCs for in my PS4 collection. So, DLCs stands for downloadable content. Downloadable content is like any content that you can, that's not part of the main game, but you can download after. So, it'll come out months after the main game is released. So, it's extra content. So, it could be extra story mode or extra cosmetics or extra or more weapons or vehicles in the game. If you're watching this, like, subscribe, share the video. You guys know, press that subscribe watermark down here. For this video, it's a slightly different scenery. I wanted to change up the scenery a bit. And for the God of War 3 versus Wolverine video, I made it, but I gotta redo it again. There's some problems with it. So DLC now. I'm only going to be doing 10, so we're going from 10 down to 1. Yeah, 10 to 1, so 10 being relatively least favorite to 1 being my most favorite. And it's based on what I played. Some of the games on PS4, they have DLC for it, but unfortunately, I never got a chance to play it. Like, what's the one there for Ghost of Tsushima? I have to play that DLC. Or what's another one? Avengers 2020. I didn't play the DLC for that, even though it's more of an update. But yeah. So, anyways, number 10 is gonna be Mortal Kombat X, or if you have the Ultimate Edition, is XL, which comes in all the DLC. You know, the DLC characters I wasn't a big fan of. I didn't really like. It added a horror character, so you had, what's the name again? Leatherface, Alien, Predator. Then it added like other Mortal Kombat characters like Tremor, and nice to see Goro. And you had the robot Sector Cyrax, and I can't remember the other one, Cyber Smoke, the Cyber. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling the DLC for this one. But it's not a bad DLC. But the thing is with Mortal Kombat is, for most of them, it's not. It's he gotta pay like an extra $7 per character. So for every extra character that you buy, it's $7. Unless you buy it with an expansion, where you buy all the characters in one. Like they have season 1, season 2, or so. But I wasn't really feeling the DLC for this. And then, yeah, as the characters, I wasn't a fan of. Did this one have a Freddy Krueger? I believe so. Yeah. Or well, no, it was MK9 that had the Freddy Krueger. Next one is Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 mainly added maps. The DLCs mainly had maps. Yeah. Number 9. Yeah. So, you had maps. So it's World War 1. So it's mainly Russia. Mainly you're in Europe, Eastern Europe. Western Europe, all over Europe, right? France, England, Germany, and all that. So, but DLC added Russian, so I get to go to Russian maps. So there was snow, there lots of mountain sceneries and all that, and you get extra weapons. But again, the weapons, why it's ranked low, because the weapons aren't really easy to unlock. It's not an easy thing to unlock. I gotta grind out, achievements. Use this weapon this many times to unlock this next weapon. But I really like the maps. I like the maps. So yeah, so a multiplayer map expansion. Next one is, okay, wait, this kind of tricky. Spider-Man PS4. Now, I did not like the extra DLCs for this. I wasn't a big fan of it. The Sable DLC. What's that? What's the Marvel's version of a Catwoman called? I can't remember her name. I always forget her name. But anyways, yeah, you have her DLC, and you got the one where it's Hammerhead. Hammerhead wasn't bad. They're like story expansion, but I don't know. It just felt like a missed opportunity and all that. But there's an extra. Each of them, I believe, there's an extra boss fight. So there's like 3 extra boss fights near the end of them. So if you look at it, you got like, I believe there's 6 different boss fights in the Spider-Man PS4 main game, and adding the extra 2 to 3 gives you 8 to 9 boss fights. So yeah, not bad, but again, story expansion is too quick, and it suffers that problem where, you know, open world story world expansion where the main game is so good, but the DLC, it's hard for the DLC to live up to the main game, even though it's the same mechanics, upgrade system. But in terms of story, like it's hard for the DLC story to live up to that main story. Next one is Devil May Cry 5. It's not really a DLC, but it's play spoilers. Again, spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled, please move on. But it's play as Virgil. So Virgil has Dante being the main character in DMC, and Virgil being his brother. They're in like this feud or whatever. So you get to play as Virgil. Well, it's not really impressive in that you're basically playing the same main story campaign, but you're playing it as Virgil. So you got these three guys and plus Virgil. So I get to play it through a fourth different perspective. But it's the same story. It's really the same story. With slightly different cutscenes, but there's not really. Yeah, and you got DLCs where there's cosmetics, so you can make Dante have black hair, or Dante have black jacket, or a Nero have some sort of, I believe it's like blonde hair with some sort of a white jacket and white shirt, and you can give them like a devil look where their eyes, or some sort of vampire look where their eyes are like red. But yeah, but other than that, there's not really much to say. I think there's more where I can add more. Like a Nero uses these mechanical hands, and each with each hand, it gives you different abilities. Like one hand will have electricity, or like the hand here. Another one like will shoot out blasters. Another one will freeze time, and then but it adds more. Like there's DLCs for that. Next one is gonna be Just Cause 3. Just Cause 3. I haven't played this in a long time, but I remember the DLC. A day one edition. I forget what that means. Now I know what it means, but I don't remember what it gave me as extra. But with Just Cause 3, you had you had something where you use these mech, and then the mech had this one magnet, right? It's like this one magnet. The magnet, he basically lifts up any vehicle or post, object, or tank and all that. So like like you were very overpowered, and it added another story expansion. It added more. I believe there's more planes, more jets, more tanks, and all that. So yeah, and we're on number 6, right? Yeah, so 6. So yeah, but that mech basically stole the show from me. Like it stole the show, and I believe there's one where. What's the one where you there's like this one board that you glide on, but the board can glide over like basically any surface, water, mud, like anything, grass. Yeah, so and then you basically go from a point A to point B easier, a lot quicker. The board. Next one is gonna be Mortal Kombat 11. So this is number 5. And again, as based on what I played, I gotta play more DLCs. I thought I had more, but MK11 had it had a huge, a lot more to the actual roster itself. So you had, you not only had, added Terminator, Joker, and then it brought back guys like a Terminator, Joker, Spawn, RoboCop. Then it added people like I believe it was Smoke. You had Smoke, Fujin, who was the brother of Raiden. Who else? Anyways, I can't remember exactly the DLC. Shao Kahn as well. Shao Kahn. So yeah. Anyways, like you had all these different characters, and they all, had their own play style. So like you had about 8 to 9 extra characters added to the main roster, and the roster itself was already big. The Mortal Kombat rosters can be big, and there's lots to it. And as well, like what makes it special is that there's the DLCs, DLC storylines. So we got the look up Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. I don't want to give away like any spoilers where you play Liu Kang and you got Fujin and what's the other guy name again? Night Wolf and you got Shao Kahn. What's his name? Man, what's Shao Kahn? Shang Tsung, which is another DLC character. So you know, it brings back a lot of what I like about it. It brings back that nostalgia. You obviously got Shang Tsung, you got Shao Kahn, which is really a day one type addition bonus. It brings back guys like Fujin and older characters brought back Night Wolf and so yeah. As number 5, I will say it would be ranked a bit higher if again like the story expansion like was I would say a bit better like in certain areas. Like it could have been better like in certain areas, I would say. Next one is Batman Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight now. Similar problem to Spider-Man in that the first few DLCs, like it had a lot of DLCs. But the first few, the story DLCs where you play as Red Hood. And but they're like really, really, really short. Like the Red Hood one is only like a 20-minute DLC story. So like, you're only getting a 20-minute taste of what it's like to be Red Hood. And you know, Red Hood being kind of like a Robin, but he kills. He has a dual wheel pistols or whatever. That these badass dual wheel pistols, and his armor is pretty badass. But the Red Hood DLC wasn't that good. The Nightwing one was trash, where he played Nightwing versus Penguin, and the Robin one wasn't good. But what really added to it was like it added more to the main Batman story. So spoilers, please skip ahead. Like it had what's his name again? Killer Croc. Yeah, Killer Croc, Ra's al Ghul, what's that? Mad Hatter. I can't remember the other one. I think it was 3. So like it added that. So they're kind of like DLC side missions where they came out basically 7 months after the game. So yeah, you would have that, and then gives you more context to these characters and Killer Croc and Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul especially, it was interesting seeing him because I thought he died after Arkham City, but sorry, spoilers, but they brought him back in this one, so you get to see him. It's pretty cool, and it adds more challenge maps where you gotta fight waves of enemies, different maps, and you could basically use, I believe, Red Hood, Harley Quinn, Nightwing, Azrael. So like it added 5 extra characters. Catwoman was part of the main game. So yeah, a 4 different, and Batgirl. So I added 5 different characters, 5 newer characters to the challenge mode. So you could play basically 9 characters in a challenge mode area. Batman, Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl, Red Hood, Harley Quinn, Azrael, and all that. So there's like so many maps. Like this one had at least, I can't remember how many different maps it had. It's crazy how many maps, challenge maps. Like there's like at least 25 different challenge maps just for the fighting, the hand-to-hand melee combat wave mode. A lot. Infamous Second Son, it added Infamous First Light. So I really liked the Second Son and its mechanics and its approach to the superhero franchise, a superhero gaming franchise. No, the DLC, like it adds like play as spoilers Fetch, right? So you play as Fetch, and like in this timeline, the conduits, the one with powers, they're being imprisoned. So Fetch basically being she controls neon, so bright lights or whatever. So like with Fetch, she's not here, but with Fetch now, I get to see her perspective as she was one of the conduits to be captured by this government facility, and then basically if you're a conduit, you're gonna be persecuted or brought to jail, and she has to do these tests with her powers and all that. So yeah, so I like it because like it's not one of those short ass, half ass story DLCs where it's only like 45 minutes to 2 hours long. this one actually challenged, like it actually offered more to the Infamous Second Son story, and then like it felt like I felt like I cared for Fetch more a lot during this. Guys, give me a sec. I gotta fix a light here. The lighting. I don't know what's going on with the lighting. So yeah. The number 2 is Horizon Zero Dawn. Almost done. 2 is Horizon Zero Dawn. DLC where now similar to Infamous Second Son, Spider-Man, and Arkham Knight, where the DLC was like it added an extra faction, where your faction, the main character, your faction being the Nora, you got the Karja, Shadow Karja, and then this DLC adds another one. I can't remember what they are, but they're more of like a snow people, like some sort of a Arctic type tribe or whatever. But there's this whole new area like of the map, like this big area where it's a snow area, and it adds more bosses to it too as well, where the game gets a lot harder, and there's more weapons. There's spoilers. There's a flamethrower, cryo thrower, which throws out ice. There's something where there's, I believe, a poison darts. So a very interesting array of weapons, and the bigger map. Like, it's so beautiful. The game itself is so beautiful, and then the graphics, like when you walk through the snow, you really feel, like you really see it, and you see it. That's very nice, and yeah. So you get to see more of behind the world, what's behind these machines rising up, and why are there newer machines and more advanced machines. There's even one like literally it's like a berserker. It's like a grizzly bear machine, but it's like up to 15 feet tall, and then you gotta fight this. But these again, back to the challenge. These ones, they add more of a challenge to it. It's a lot harder than the regular game. And like, it makes this one look like a child's play. It makes this one look like a child's play. The Thunderjaw. But I really like the way how it did that. Like, the DLC ones, it's newer. They're more advanced, more armored. Their attacks do more damage and all that. The story as well. The story is very good. You get to meet new characters. It ties back to the older characters on the game. And yeah, Witcher 3 number 1. Witcher 3, you guys know, one of my favorite games of all time. And with the DLC, I never thought that the DLC could live up to the main game. But it being so good, in there's 2 different DLCs, story expansions, right, or map expansions and areas that you can go to. Now there's one where there's a vampire one, and then there's another one where there's kind of like a sorcerer. I can't remember what it's called. Von Everett guy. If you guys know Witcher. So you talk to Von Everett. Von Everett talk. You get to explore more. I get more upgrade points. You get to rank up more, because it basically adds more to the main map. So the main map, and then like it adds more side missions and more secret areas that you can go to. So making it more likely for you to gain more XP and get like some sort of a higher level. But you can't do, again, it being a difficulty spike, you can't fight certain enemies unless you're level 35 and up, right? So it's gonna be harder. So you really gotta plan out your time and plan out, okay, what am I spending my upgrade points on? Because similar to Horizon Zero Dawn, in that the enemies the enemies, like in the DLC story, they're harder to fight, the bosses, and there's a giant toad boss, there's a vampire boss. It's epic, and it's